Indy Racing League has just 4 races remaining. If the Penske pair of Helio Castroneves and Gilles de Ferran are to fight out the title, then both need a good result today to halt the progress of the Red Bull youngsters Thomas Scheckter and Buddy Rice around the high-speed banking of the Kentucky Speedway. Hello, and if you were with us for the kart FedEx race, welcome back. If you're just joining us for the Indy Racing League, welcome. Let's check out the Kentucky headlines first of all. Sarah Fisher, at just 21 years of age, becomes the first woman to win the pole position for a major league open wheel race in North American motorsport history. Alonso returns after 3 weeks in rehab, starting 14th on the grid, but his Kelly team also runs a car for his substitute Tony Renner, who finished 4th 2 weeks ago. After scoring a 1-2 at Michigan, Red Bull again run 3 cars for Eddie Cheever, Scheckter and Rice. And Brazilian Vitor Meira, a graduate of British Formula Ford, makes his IRL debut, replacing a lacklustre Mark Dismore at Menard. And Will Langhorne is another debut driver. And Britain's Dan Weldon, who makes his IRL debut in a few weeks' time, lapped the Kentucky track during testing at the same pace as current IRL champion and teammate Sam Hornish. Welcome to the studio, my 2 guests, of course, Paul Cherry and Lawrence Foster. Paul, if I can come to you first, a couple of new names in there that we've got to deal with, Will Langhorne and Vitor Meira. What do we know about them?
To the series, they're new. Victor is Brazilian Formula 3 champion. He has been over to England and done Formula Ford, as we said, but he's a little bit of an unknown. I mean, Brazilian racing is very competitive, but not a lot of quality. The guys generally come to Europe. He's jumped straight out of Brazilian Formula 3 and headed to America. One has to say also with $3 million, which probably helped. Will Langhorne is a Formula Atlantic driver. He drove for the last 3 years relatively competitively. He tried to break into Formula 3000 and in fact was over in Europe trying to get a test in the winter. It didn't pan out. He didn't want to continue with Atlantic, so he's cast his net to the IRL.
Well, as we'll see in a bit, they've not embarrassed themselves in qualifying, that's for certain. Now then, one story that's quite big, or it certainly was the last time we spoke about it. Alonso Jr. is back in the car after 3 weeks in rehab. It's not a story that you see in Formula 1 or, in fact, most other motorsport categories, I've got to say. He's back. Can he really be as I suppose the word is clean as everyone leads us to believe? I mean, it's a difficult situation racing these cars at over 200 miles an hour. You certainly wouldn't want somebody around you that's struggled with alcohol.
Well, Kelly Racing have been massively open about this. Yesterday they actually put him in front of the press, said, ask him what you want. Everybody said, is it too early to come back? He said no, because really it's almost taken his mind off his problems actually getting there into a racing car. The one thing he has said though is he's told the IRL that if he wins he only wants milk, no champagne. So no, I mean,
did they make him walk the white line though? That's the question. To touch his nose and all those other strange things they do when they pull you in America. Not that I've ever been pulled in America, of course.
No, I mean, they're pretty good about it. As you say, you know, he's come back and qualified mid-grid, so
in fact, he has, if we look down the list. Let's take a look then at the grid right now. There's a nice cue there from our man himself. So, the lady, 21 years old, Sarah Fisher, beat Billy Boat to the draw. It was very technical the way they went about it, but they beat off 2 Brazilians there, Felipe Giafone and Helio Castroneves on row 2. They wouldn't have wanted to start there, I'm sure, but it's not as bad as all that for the Penske boys. Sam Hornish Jr., the defending champion, and Buddy Rice, one of the Red Bull guys, there on row 3. On row 4 will be team boss for Red Bull, Eddie Cheever and Richie Hearn. So Richie Hearn from Las Vegas gets the Sam Schmidt Motorsports car out on row 4. And on row 5, Buddy Lazier and Gilles de Ferran. And then Buddy Lazier, it's been a while since he's... actually, Buddy Lazier's got a good record here, so we'll wait and see what he's actually going to achieve around this racetrack. Keep a watch out for him on row 5. Row 6, Raul Boesel and Tony Renner. Tony Renner staying out on the track despite, his number 1 position being filled again at that team. Vitor Meira, one of the men we were talking about a little bit earlier on row 7. Alonso Jr., there he is, all dried out and ready to race from row 7. And on row 8, Laurent Redon and Alex Barron. So the Kentucky Indy 300 starting grid rolls on. As you can see in the back of the picture, so do they. Row 9, Thomas Scheckter, he's got to do some work from there. Greg Ray, another famous name alongside him, but a long way back at the moment. But you know what they say about IndyCar racing. Will Langhorne, there he is, the man we were talking about a moment ago on row 10. Robbie Buell alongside him. They say the last 50 laps of a IRL race is the one that counts. Scott Sharp, Ayrton Dare back on row 11. Row 12, Jeff Ward, the ex-motorcyclist, and George Mack. And looking back down to row 13, Eliseo Salazar is right off the back. That's how it looks as far as the grid is concerned. And I've got to say that some of the guys that we see far away down the grid there, Paul, a bit of a shock in testing for them. This track obviously caught a lot of people out in qualifying. Yeah,
as we've seen, a lot of people waved off their first laps, reason being the temperature. The track is wildly affected by the temperature, and a lot of the people, including Sarah Fisher, did their qualifying lap one lap only. They didn't have any build-up. That was the hit. And even Victor Mira there on his debut, the team owner waved him off, pulled in one lap, and he put it where he did. And it's an interesting place. We're going to have an interesting race.
We certainly are. Well, it couldn't get much interesting after, of course, qualifying with Sarah Fisher managing to hit that pole position. We've all got our fingers crossed for her. Can she do it? Let's find out.
A pair of Infinity-powered cars on the front row. Sarah Fisher and Billy Boat. Boat had the pole 2 weeks ago at Michigan. Well, Sarah made some believers out of a lot of folks at Michigan in that great ride she had 2 weeks ago. Let's see what she can do as she leads 25 cars off the corner to take the green flag in the first of 200 laps, 300 miles.
Wow, that was one of the best starts I've seen. Everybody pretty much 2 by 2. A few guys jumped there in the back trying to get around.
3 by 3 and 4 by 4 right now.
There goes Schechter. He got a good jump on a couple of cars back there. He got a little run on guys. You can see him on the outside already gaining some spots. Look at this.
Sarah leads the parade through the first corner. And now the first lap is the battle for, almost they got together. They almost got together. They almost touched a couple of times. That's the Hollywood car, the 21 car of Giafoni, and one of the Penske cars, that was Castro Neves.
Yeah, it was Castro Neves who got out there. And look at Giafoni making a very early move and a very bold move for him. He's usually the kind of guy who lays back, takes it a little easy, doesn't take too many chances early on, but right away in this race, he's after the front runners.
Also, Sarah Fisher has built up a bit of a lead in the first couple of laps as the battle continues for second. There's Billy Boat in that blue and white number 98. That's the curb record entry. And then the two Penske cars are running third and fourth. Now there are 3 teams here today with 3 cars each. Floyd has 3 cars, Kelly has 3 cars, and Cheever has 3 cars.
Yes, and you can sell that those 3 cars. Look at this already.
Hey, there's Eddie Cheever on the inside of Jill DeFerrin.
And that's as racy as we've seen Eddie Cheever early in an event this year. He's really been one of the guys who used to be the hardest charger in the whole series, and he's been kind of quiet this year. So
he was embarrassed 2 weeks ago. He called himself the recipient of the what was the Dumbheaded Award or something like that because he put that car in the wall, and he was upstaged by his 2 rookie drivers that finished 1-2. Thomas Schechter on the 3rd lap of the race is headed for the pit area. Let's see what happens.
Well, that's a tough break for him.
Oh!
Yes, he got a great. We talked about what a great run he got, and maybe it was just too good of a run.
Flag. He was black flag for that start.
Yeah, well, it's a tough break. It's going to put him a lap down, and it's going to make it very difficult. He's going to have to get some different pit strategy now in order to get back on the lead lap.
The stop and go penalty. He jumped the green flag start.
Oh, look at this, 3 abreast on the inside. That's Cheever clear down below the white line. Both of the Penske cars running side by side, and he went around both of them at the same time.
Cheever, after that race 2 weeks ago, might feel like he has something to prove because we've alluded to this on this radio and television program before that this could be the final season for his driving. He may be hearing that and thinking, wait a minute, I want to race some more. So.
That is Buddy Rice. That's not Eddie Cheever.
That's not Cheever, that's Rice.
That's Buddy Rice down on the inside, the young man who is only his second race, and he very much looks like the guy who is on the move and not afraid to battle with the big boys.
Get everything we've said about Cheever then. That's Buddy, who finished second 2 weeks ago after qualifying for the front row.
Cheever right behind. He's in that mix right behind them, but it's Buddy Rice. They're sandwiched between the 2 Penske cars. Cheever following DeFerrin. Sam Harnish, who had a lot of trouble. You can see right there that DeFerrin didn't like that very much. He went back in there, gave him a big slide job. You can see how he went up the racetrack when he went around, but he did a nice job getting back past Rice.
There's Harnish looking at the 2 Red Bull entries. He goes by Cheever and puts himself between Rice and Cheever.
Started to say that Sam Harnish had all kinds of engine problems on Saturday. They tried one car, they didn't like the engine in that car. They went and tried the backup car. It wasn't any better, so finally they got back in the primary car. and seems to have things worked out today after some engine changing. But boy, they really struggled. They really didn't get any hot laps yesterday at all.
Well, Buddy Rice goes back around the Farron. Sarah Fisher has led from the starting green.
Yeah, Fisher, Giafone, Billy Boat have pretty much maintained that the first three positions. Now we're riding along with Sam Hornish. You can see him. He got up in the gray, had to get out of the throttle, and look how much time it cost him down this next straightaway. He lost 2 or 3 car lengths going down the next straightaway. So you can't get very high going through the corners, especially, or you're going to be in big trouble here at this racetrack. 14-degree bank.
The high side. And he gets a good run on it.
Gets a good run that time, stays very close to him, went through the middle of the corner, and just went right on by.
Well, back up to the front, and there's Sarah, continues to lead on lap 11. Her lead now about a second and a half over Giafone. So Sarah continues to lead here at the Kentucky Indy 300. Girl that races quarter midgets or go-karts.
Well,
every girl's cheering right now.
That's right. Every female in America is cheering for her right now. Probably, you know, because there have been a lot of female drivers. None of them have achieved nearly the success that she's achieving here today. She's when you can run and lead the likes of Castroneves and DeFerrin and Cheever and the rest of them out there, then you're a pretty good racer. I don't care what anybody says.
Now she's up to lead to 1.8 seconds. She's led from the starting green with the Giafone setting chase. Billy Boat has dropped to third. Castroneves is fourth, then Buddy Rice, then Hornish. So DeFerrin has dropped 2 positions in the last couple of laps. And there goes Hornish.
Hornish
goes by Rice.
He's kind of on a mission here, as he seems to be running extremely well after starting a little ways back for him. He's usually up very near the front. But he
started 5th position, which is still, for a lot of guys, it's pretty close to the
for him
front.
that's not all that good, but for most guys that'd be tremendous. You're right.
Got a glimpse of that last car in line is the Buddy Lazier entry. Lazier has won the last 2 events here, but right now he's back in 11th position as you go back on board with Sam Hornish.
He is gaining on Castroneves.
Gary Lee and Larry Rice on board with Sam Hornish as he is trying to make a move for position, and he gets around Castroneves for 4th spot.
Yeah, when he's come up on a car, he's had absolutely no problem running that outside groove and just going right on by them. He seems to be very comfortable and very fast up in that high groove on the racetrack, which a lot of guys, you can see Castroneves, he's pushing the front end right there as he got down behind Hornish, and he's not working near as well as Hornish is at this point of the race.
With that onboard camera shot, you really can't even see. Well, there you can. It's a long way up to that car he needs to catch, and that would be Billy Boat, who rides in 3rd spot.
Yeah, well, he's been running some of the fastest laps here the last few laps, so he's really got his problems worked out, and they did have a lot of problems yesterday with their engine program, or maybe it wasn't just the engine, maybe it was the electronics, I don't know, but the engines weren't running very well no matter what.
Well, Rice and Cheever are together on the racetrack, and they both now are working on Castroneves. That's Castroneves in the Marlboro number 3, and that's Buddy Rice back in 6th position, and not in your camera shot right now, but just behind Buddy Rice is his boss and team owner Eddie Cheever. Yeah, keep in mind that Schechter is still a lap off the pace after that early stop and go penalty for jumping the initial start.
Well, he's gonna have to use his pit stop strategy in order to get back on the lead lap, and I'm sure that they're trying to figure that out right now. But if he gets back on the lead lap, he can still be a contender in this race. It's been done before.
That Greg Ray has also parked the car for A.J. Foyt. So Greg Ray, the first to depart from this race in car number 41. Watch that battle back there for 5th spot. Rice and Castroneves. Now remember, a lot of points implications here. There are only 3 races left after this event.
Yes, Sam Hornish, if he wants to win this championship again, he very much has to do well here today. And there you can see that Greg Ray is out of the car, and they're getting ready to haul that thing back into the pit area. Tough break for Greg Ray.
Back on board with Al Unser Jr. We have documented how he fell out of the racing series to go to a drug rehab center for substance abuse, alcohol. He was only in for 17 days, only missed 2 races, and said he was eager to get back in the cockpit of this race car.
Well, and he says he learned a lot, and he's going to change his life, and I hope for his sake that he can do that, because he's a very well-known guy. He's very popular with the fans, and he has had some problems in the past, and hopefully he can realize that and change it.
So little Al back in the 11th position. Tony Renna was in this car the last 2 races and had a couple of really fine rides, and he was rewarded with a ride of his own. The car number this week is 78, so Team Kelly with 3 cars in this event. Little Al back there in the red and white. Torco would be in the 11th position. Hopefully we can hear from Greg Ray momentarily.
Last time his buddy Lazier went back in the field.
We're trying to get a comment from Greg Ray on what put his number 41 Harrah's A.J. Foyt entry out of the race. So he will finish 25th. Schechter still a lap off the pace in 24th position. And we saw what he could do with the bit in his mouth 2 weeks ago. So let's see what he can do from a lap down and see if he can play these pit stops and perhaps some future. Oh, right in front of the camera.
Hard into the wall.
Richie Hearn in car number 20, and man, we were right on that camera when that car smacked the wall right in front of us, and DeFerrin is headed for the pit area. This is too early for a routine stop. DeFerrin must have been involved with that.
He might have been involved with that, because he definitely headed for the pits right away, and you can see he's got a problem with that thing. Doesn't have any brakes, I don't think. He's trying to slow that thing down, and he's wiggling it back.
Keep in mind that DeFerrin and his teammate Castro Neves have both been running at the end of every race. Now, they've had some mechanical problems that they had to work on during the race, but they've been running at the end. And right now, there is your points leader in trouble early on lap 25.
This could be a huge, huge blow to him if he can't get this thing fixed and back out. Well, maybe it's not the brakes, but he's some sort of a problem with that thing. Oh, look at the front end. Look at the wheels, how they're towed in. That's what he's doing, trying to see what the steering is. Those 2 wheels are pointed at quite an angle, and it's going to take some major front end repair. You can see the right front wing down there, right in front of the guy walked past it. There's some damage. Left rear to the right front of DeFerrin, and it just sent Richie Hearn right into the wall with the right side of that car, and certainly did a lot of damage to the right front corner on DeFerrin's car. He's not going to get that thing fixed. He may get it fixed and back on the track, but he's not going to do it very quickly.
Heavy, extensive damage to the front and right side of Hearn's car.
Yeah, once he hit, he just took off. The race car just turned right. He went right into the wall with the right front of the car. So we take another look at it back here. And then he just kind of rode along the wall.
If you're a photographer, you duck for cover.
Yeah, obviously everybody on the outside trying to miss all the debris that's being thrown all over the racetrack from that race car.
You see the front nose off the DeFerrin car, and he's going to take his helmet and neck support off.
Well, they're going to have to change the right front suspension on that car, I would imagine. I'm sure it's bent the A-arms and wishbones and stuff up there, the way that was, so badly bent in. So they're going to have to change some of the suspension pieces on that right front. Probably put a whole new right front corner, and that's not going to be a quick job.
And this could mean the championship for the entire season right here.
Very well could. You're exactly right.
There's Greg Ray.
It wasn't a crash that put you up, but it's the same sort of disappointment.
Yeah, it's disappointing. We had a good handling race car all weekend long. We were slow in qualifying, but even when the track was bad, we had a good handling car. So, I can kind of surmise it here pretty quickly because it was a very late start. We got a bad start, but the car was handling good, and unfortunately, the motor just let go very early on. So, very disappointing for A.J. Foyt, Harris, and EDS, but we'll be back at Chicago.
And that's the key. They will be back. The pits are open. In fact,
As we indicated, the pits are open. And there's a look again at Sarah, who has led all 26 laps, and she is going to lead the parade off the racetrack into the pit area. So the first of what could be as many as 5 or even 6 pit stops. Now, will Scheckter stay out and try to?
Well, I would think he probably would try to stay out right now. Maybe not this early in the race, but he will probably stay out at some point, try to get his lap back. As you see everybody else heading into the pit area, making their pit stops. Giafone, he had trouble
with Giafone's.
He didn't get in the pits correctly, and they've had trouble getting him in there and getting him in the proper spot.
He apparently hit a tire coming out. Let's see what the remedy is.
Wow, that's a very, very costly mistake for Giafone, as he's going to take him a long time to get that thing serviced and back on the racetrack.
Well, Sarah had a good pit stop, but did not leave the pits all that fast. Looked like she lost a couple of positions.
And it looked like she went in very slowly, too. You can see cars passing her on the pit entrance. So that was something that she's probably going to have to work on. Boat appears to be one of the first guys out. Hornish right behind him.
We'll let them cycle through the pits here, and then we'll pick up the leader. Obviously, we're under yellow for that crash involving Richie Hearn and Jill DeFerrin. Jill limped back to the pits. DeFerrin is out with the wreck. Back at the Kentucky Indy 300 with the Indy Racing League. Now we have, after today's event, 3 races to go, as will be at the Gateway Speedway near St. Louis and up in Chicago, and then wrap up the season in the second race of the year in Texas. As you watch the repair work continuing, Marlboro Team Penske entry of Jill DeFerrin. DeFerrin came into this race leading the point standings by only 12 over his teammate Castroneves, by 18 over Sam Hornish, and by 47 markers over Felipe Giafone. So he's had his trouble. Felipe's had his trouble with his lengthy pit stop.
Yeah, so right now, Hornish and Castroneves are the only 2 up there in the top 4 in the point standings that have not had a problem. Of course, this is the most serious, but Giafone fell way back as he had all kinds of problems getting into the right position in his pit area, and cost him all the way from 3rd back to 21st.
Well, Billy Boat directly behind the Corvette pace car. There is your restart order with Hornish, Castroneves starting back in 3rd as they're about to come around and take this green flag.
Well, Billy Boat,
lap 35.
Billy Boat desperately would like to have a win. He's certainly a capable race car driver. He showed last week that he's one of the guys to contend with. And since they made this change to Infinity, he's been very, very strong.
So far, your leader is Billy Boat. He is the second to lead. Sarah Fisher was the other. Out of the race, Greg Gray and Richie Hearn after 34 laps. Now, we saw what Sarah Fisher did 2 weeks ago on that last restart. Came from about 8th in the pack to lead the race. Let's see what she can do on this restart, because she's coming from 10th position after a relatively slow pit stop.
And you can see some of those cars in the back trying to get a run. They laid back trying to get a run so they could gain some spots on this restart. Let's see if any of them were successful.
In some cases 2 and 3 wide back there.
That's Sarah Fisher that was 3 wide as Hornish goes for the lead right away.
Doesn't get the job done. Billy Boat continues to lead this thing. They go through that oil drive, left on the racetrack after that crash.
Oh, but look at this. Castroneves goes to the inside of Hornish, tries to take away that second spot, but Hornish doesn't give up that easy.
Look at Rice. Look at Lazier back there. Lazier now in 5th spot. He's won the last 2 outings here. He is on the high side of Rice in the Coors car, and he goes on by. That's the Team Himmelgarn entry, number 91. So Lazier now showing some strength. He's up to 4th.
And he's had an absolutely terrible year. The worst year he's ever had in IndyCar racing.
Give him 3rd.
And now then he's moved himself right into 3rd and appears to be one of the fastest race cars on the racetrack right now.
Rice looks to the inside of Castroneves. Here's his teammate and boss, Eddie Cheever, back there in the 6th position.
And Rice takes that position, so he also is having a nice run here early in the race, as he's going around Castroneves. And then Cheever, and then the teammates of Al Unser Jr., Tony Renna running back there.
What is it about a given racetrack? Lazier's won here the last 2 years, and he comes in here and he's having one of the strongest rides of the season.
Well, he was on a roll last year. Remember, he won 4 races in a row. Now that he's coming back, he and Billy Boat are 2 of the guys, along with Sarah Fisher, who really need a shot in the arm. They really need to get their act together and do well. Sarah Fisher's still back in 10th spot.
That's his teammate, Robbie Buell, right in front of her.
Right.
Buell did not qualify all that well. In fact, he started back in the 20th position. So he moved up nicely through that pit stop sequence. And look at this. A good battle back there for 3rd position.
As Rice caught back up with Lazier and decided to try to go down underneath him. Did not make it that time, but this time it looks like he might have a better run on him down on the inside.
And still does not get by.
This racetrack is a little bit unique, that even though you get to the inside of somebody, if you keep your RPMs built up on the outside, you can sometimes pull off the corner a little better. It's a little bit like Texas in that respect.
Well, this track has been resurfaced since last year. It was about 3 miles an hour faster in most cases, and they're able to race side by side.
Boy, they are racing side by side. Lazier does not give up that position. He lost that position just for a few seconds and came right back, took it back from Rice. And you're right. Once they have resurfaced this, it's a much better racetrack. There was not much side-by-side racing last year, and everybody was complaining about the roughness. This year, much, much nicer racetrack.
Gil DeFerrin has left the pit area. Will return to action, and he will be some 16 laps behind. We'll also tell you that Thomas Schechter, by staying on the racetrack on that restart, is now up to 14th position. There's a look at DeFerrin. Boat leads it over Sam Hornish and Buddy Lazier. Or is he coming back?
He's coming back in the pit area. Obviously, when they fix the right front, something is not correct. He's going to come back in and have something checked once again. He doesn't want to go out there and put that thing in the wall again. That's the last thing he wants to do. So whatever's wrong with it, you might as well fix it. You're already 16 laps down. Another couple laps is not going to make that much difference. Or maybe he just went out and said, yeah, it feels okay. Let's put some tires on and go.
Has moved to 9th position and now sets her sights on Eddie Cheever.
Well, there's still a long way to go in this race. Sarah Fisher does not have to get too excited this early in the going. She has to run a good steady race.
And she's gotten around Cheever now, so Larry, she's up to 8th position, but she can still be patient.
Yeah, she can still be very patient. Long way to go. Whatever the problem was on getting in and out of the pits, just don't do it again. That's the big thing.
Looking back for the Pennzoil car to 3rd place, Buddy Lazier, two-time defending champion. There's that gap between 2nd and 3rd. Your leader right now, Billy Boat, with over a 1.5 seconds advantage.
And Lazier seems to be gaining pretty steadily on Sam Hornish right now. Rice not that far behind him, so you can look for Lazier to take a shot at him. There he goes, down to the inside.
He has the pass made as Hornish drops from 2nd back to 3rd.
Hornish, he'll try to make the move on the outside. The outside has been his place all day long.
Well, that's all season long for Sam Hornish.
Exactly. But right now, he just can't do it. Here's that Lazier's a little bit better handling car right now. He gets that draft. He sucks up right behind him. Still doesn't get enough momentum to go to the outside and make the pass. So you can definitely.
All this is happening almost 2 seconds behind your leader, Billy Boat, who assumed the lead on lap 28. That round of pit stops. Good crowd on hand here in Kentucky, northern Kentucky, here this afternoon.
Look at the draft, how it sucks him up going down the straightaway. He moves to the outside to see if he can keep that momentum up. He cannot do it. He kind of hits a brick wall once he pulls out of that draft. Now he's going to use that draft once again to try to pull him around through the corner. But once he pulls out of that draft, doesn't have the horsepower or the momentum to go around Lazier.
There's been a lot of talk about what might happen to this young man next year. He is the defending series champion, but Sam Hornish has been courted by Dale Earnhardt Incorporated to come run some Busch and Winston Cup races and stock cars next season.
Yeah, I think his contract is through next year. He's looking to do maybe a couple of races when he has time next year. The real question mark is what he's going to do in 2004. If he actually likes the stock cars, would he actually move to NASCAR or stay here with the IRL?
You had a glimpse there of your leader, Billy Boat. Now we're back on that battle for 2nd position. There is Lazier up in front of Hornish. Rice is now 4th. Then it's Castroneves and Tony Renna now rounding out the top 6 positions. It is a hot and humid Sunday afternoon in northern Kentucky. There is a threat of rain this afternoon. Reminds us of 2 weeks ago at Michigan. There was a threat of rain, but we got through the race okay.
Yeah, I think most of the threat of rain is in the late afternoon when the the temperatures start to change. So hopefully they won't bother this race. It should be over by that time.
If you watch this battle back in traffic, we will tell you that Scheckter has moved now to 11th. University of Kentucky Medical Center.
Right, and of course he's a good friend of ours. We've worked with him some, and he did this. Racing was his passion, or is his passion. So hopefully he'll come through this okay and get back in the cockpit.
He was supposed to be the spotter today for Al Unser Jr., and he was looking forward to doing that. As you look at Al right now, Al back in the 7th position.
Tony Renna seemed to have some sort of a problem as Al Unser just blew by him.
Well, there's Scheckter. Scheckter now is in 9th position, and that is Sarah Fisher up in front of him. So the young man from Cape Town, South Africa, who now resides in Indianapolis, is on the move.
Yeah, but he's getting dangerously close to pit stop time.
So Scheckter rides back there in 9th position. The Red Bull may have some red eyes right now because he has the bull by the horn in the nose as Thomas Scheckter on the fly right now, back up to 9th position. Go back on board Little Al, and you look at the Marlboro car of Castroneves.
He goes by Castroneves down on the inside. Thomas Scheckter, who we talked about running in 9th position, he's getting very close to the time.
We have a yellow. We have a yellow, and this could play to his advantage.
Oh, this is
a
absolutely
yellow.
Absolutely a huge break for Thomas Scheckter. He was going to have to pit. He had 53 laps since his last pit stop. He could not last more than another 3 or 4 laps, even though they had some yellow flag time. So this is a huge break for him, and this is exactly why they didn't pit, trying to get back on the lead lap. Great move, great break for Thomas Scheckter.
He's talking to the crew right there. You saw his left thumb on the mic switch. The crew will tell him once the pits are open, come in here for service. Greg Beck once again overseeing the crew for Thomas Scheckter.
Debris on the racetrack is the cause of the yellow flag. So big break for Thomas Scheckter. You'll probably see everybody else heading for the pits at the same time, and we'll see if Sarah Fisher and Giaffoni can do any better this time than they did last time as far as making their pit stops.
Sarah dropped back to 10th position on that restart. She's riding in 8th right now. You're riding with Scheckter in 9th. There is your leader, Billy Boat. Now Billy took the lead as they came in for the pit stop under that yellow created by the Hearn and DeFerrin contact. Richie Hearn made hard contact with the wall. DeFerrin has been back out on the racetrack, but then was back in the pits for more service. So now we complete lap number 58 under yellow. Boat only the second leader of the afternoon behind the Corvette pace car driven by 3-time Indy 500 champion Johnny Rutherford.
Look at this. Lazier had gotten around Harnish for second place before this before they headed for the pit area.
And there is the curb team as they slow Billy down, and let's see who comes out of this and who picks up some positions under this yellow flag pit stop. Oh, an adjustment right there on the front wing.
Yeah, they took a little extra time. The right front tire took a little extra time, but they got the adjustments made that they wanted. He was already very fast as we take a look at Thomas Scheckter now, and they're back there just in case he kills the engine. Of course, well, he's very lucky. Oh, he killed the engine. When they couldn't get the fuel out of there, he killed the engine. cars are very tricky. When you put that thing in gear, the clutches are they sometimes grab, and that, I think, might have been what happened to him right there.
Well, he was fortunate that happened, though, under yellow. Didn't lose as much had he done that under green.
But that was not actually his fault. They told him to put it in gear, but the fueler did not get the fuel thing out in time, and it caused him to sit there just that extra little second, and that's why the engine died.
Well, they had that clutch problem at Michigan 2 weeks ago in the last pit stop that put him back in about 8th position, that restart, 8 or 12.
Didn't bother him there.
Back to win it. No, didn't bother him at all. Right along with Sam Hornish. Once again, there is Jill DeFerrin, back to the attention of Roger Penske, Rick Reineman and the crew.
Yeah, he's so far.
Show Giafoni now as the leader.
Well, Giafoni, he has not made a pit stop this time around. That's the reason he's up in front, and he's going to do the same thing Scheckter did. As we take a look at George Mack, who's in the pit area, but Giafoni's going to try to do the same thing Scheckter did. He was back in 21st position. His track position scheme is to stay on the racetrack and try to gain that track position right now and hopefully catch a yellow before he has to make another pit stop.
There is a look at the other totally new rookie, Will Langhorne.
Out of Washington, D.C. This is a Treadway race car that has been run by both Rick Treadway and Ari Leyendijk this year. So this young man he's run a lot in the smaller cars, some of the
lesser horsepower
cars. So he's not a rookie by any stretch of the imagination in race cars, but he certainly is in the IRL.
Well, there's a look at the 21 of Giafoni. Lazier will be second on this restart. Then Hornish, then Unser, Castroneves, Boat, Rice, Renna, Fisher. So Fisher came in 8th and is now 9th. So he only lost 1 position on that pit stop. Cheever is 10th. It's Barron, Dare, Sharp, Loisel. Scheckter will be 15th on the restart, but he got that lap back that he lost in that early black flag.
Got the lap back, but he lost about 7 positions when he killed that engine. Billy Boat, by making that little wing adjustment up in the front, and having a little bit of trouble on the right front corner, he dropped from 1st back to 6th.
But if you adjust that car properly, you can well make up for those.
It was a gamble they were willing to make, obviously. It was something that they wanted to make sure they got the changes made, and so they were willing to take that little extra time to get it done. But he already was pretty quick.
3-time winner this season, Sam Hornish, came out of karts. In fact, he and Sarah Fisher, both from the state of Ohio in the Midwest, ran karts together for many years. Sam was last year's IRL champion. In fact, became the youngest driver to win an open wheel IndyCar championship. There's Al Unser Jr., presently in 4th position.
Well, Sam Hornish certainly has nothing to prove to anybody as far as being not only a gutsy driver, but a smart driver. He's very efficient on the racetrack. He listens well. He's got a good coach in Pancho Carter, who is on his spotter, and always talking to him, telling him where he should go and what he should do out on the racetrack.
Well, lengthy yellow. There's a look at your leader on this restart, Giafoni. A lengthy yellow, some 6 laps because of debris. And that's a long yellow for just debris on the racetrack.
Yes, it is. Once they put the yellow out, though, I think they give everybody a chance to make their pit stops before they go back green. And we'll see if Lazier and Giafoni can stay ahead of some of those other guys back there that have been coming on pretty strong. Look at Lazier. He's already just to the outside trying to get that little bit of a run.
Look at Hornish on the inside.
Al Unser Jr. on the outside of Hornish. So everybody trying to gain that little bit of an advantage on the restart.
Here comes Castroneves. We have 21 cars on the lead lap. Jeff Ward is now a lap off the pace. DeFerrin is 27 laps off the pace.
Al Unser Jr. made that pass on the outside of Sam Hornish. Hornish stayed down in the middle of the racetrack going down the back straightaway, and Al Unser Jr. just got enough momentum coming off that corner to blow by him going through the next corner.
Billy Boat's now in 5th position. That is Boat behind the yellow car of Hornish, the blue and white car of Boat. Lazier looks like he wants a piece of the action up in front as he closes in on Giafoni.
Castroneves back there in 7th. That's Sarah Fisher trying to get around him. She's She's gotten around Tony Renna, so she's moved up fairly quickly here. She got around at least one car and already battling with Castro Neves.
Well, she was 9th on the restart. She's 8th right now, and that's Castro Neves in the 7th position. That's Renna behind Fisher.
Castro Neves lost a couple of spots on that restart. I'm not sure whether he just didn't get a very
Sarah
good
on the
run.
inside, Larry.
Yep, she's very strong here today. This is the first racetrack that she's ever tested at before they came to run, at least in the last couple of years. She's always been with a team that didn't have a lot of test time, didn't have enough money to go out and do a lot of testing. And she came here and tested earlier, so this is the first racetrack she's ever come kind of on equal footing with everybody else who usually do come and test at these racetracks.
She said she knew the car was fast coming off the hauler, and she was, I think, second fast in the first practice session.
Right.
So it was really no surprise that she qualified so well. I think it was a surprise that she had the pole.
And she also says that Mark White, her engineer, they're getting along very, very well. And that's so important in this racing. You and the engineer, the driver and the engineer, certainly have to communicate and be on the same page. Look at Al Jr., though. He's using that draft, sucking right up behind Lazier. Oops, he pushed the front end right there, had to get out of the throttle.
And I'm sure that he feels like he has something to prove, too, that he can be as strong as he's ever been in the cockpit race car. He's gotten a lot of publicity over the past couple of months, and quite honestly, it's not always been good publicity.
That's right. And Buddy Rice has gotten around Sam Hornish, so Hornish not giving up easy, though.
Well, he hasn't gotten totally around him. They're still side by side.
I have to say that I think Hornish probably runs that outside groove and likes it as much as anybody here at the racetrack.
He runs it as well as anybody.
Yes, he certainly does. And now then, look at this.
Lau goes to the inside of Lazier for second place.
Well, he probably does have a little hunger in his eyes today. He wants to prove to the world that he can get good publicity as well as bad publicity.
It's that old country song, gravel in your gut and spit in your eye.
Yep, that's right. He's certainly had his share of knocks on the head here in the last few weeks, so maybe this is time for him to come back and prove that he can still do this job.
Well, Billy Boat now is in 6th position. Sarah Fisher has her eyes set on him. And she'll go back to the front of the pack, and once again Giafoni, but he will have to make a pit stop before everybody else.
And Castro Neves must have a set of tires that aren't suited to his race car, because he's fallen off clear back to 9th position, so it's something that he's not working nearly as well after that last pit stop as he has before.
So with 71 and 200 laps complete, Felipe Giafoni leads Al Unser Jr. here in Kentucky. Running along with Al Unser Jr.
Well, we're right in there with Al Unser Jr., but it's Felipe Giafoni that leads. Buddy Lazier is right there as well in 3rd place, and I've got to say that that's a great position for him. He's won it twice before. Could he do it again?
I don't think so. I think we've seen him up here early on, but I think the guy with the momentum is the one we're on board with now. Sam Hornish Jr. seems to have race win written all over him, but certainly Lazier for a top 3. He certainly knows this track.
Okay, well, it's Buddy Lazier that's in 3rd place behind Al Unser, and they're all behind Felipe Giafoni. And we can get back to the track now and our live trackside commentators for the latest.
You know, all you have to do is lift a little bit, lose momentum. Yeah, just one little slight push, and you get out of the throttle and lose a couple of RPMs. And there goes Sarah Fisher around Buddy Rice. So she certainly has not lost the handle on that handling in that race car. She's still very, very quick, even though she did get shuffled back under that first pit stop. She's moved back up now to 5th position. Look how close those 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 cars are right there, all of them within about
But this, Larry, realistically is what we have come to expect from the Indy Racing League, the type of package that the engineers, the designers have put together, the tech people, that we have seen this race after race after race.
Well, yeah, it's become almost commonplace to us, but I think this racing is some of the best racing, race after race, that I have ever seen in motorsports. They do not disappoint at almost any venue they go to, and some of the venues, quite honestly, are not all that good for side-by-side racing, but somehow they seem to be able to do it.
This is for the lead. Sam Hornish looks to the high side of Giafoni. Giafoni, the only driver in the top 6, top 8 in points that has yet to win a race this season, but consistently he's been in the top 3 or 4.
Yeah, he stayed right down to the bottom of the racetrack that time. He's trying to get hold that bottom groove.
Giafone in 11 starts has yet to win, but has 4 top 5 finishes and 10 top 10 finishes. So it's been his consistency that's had him in the top 5 in the point standing.
Now then we have a battle as Al Unser Jr. goes to the outside of Lazier. Battle for 3rd and 4th. Those guys running side by side. Sarah Fisher right behind them and gaining on all of the leaders at this point.
Well, of course, she has that infinity power, and that's said to represent about, what, 20 or 25 additional horsepower.
Well, that's what some people think. Chevrolet's been working very hard, though, on the horsepower in their cars.
They almost get together. That's Lazier on the low side. You're riding with Al Unser Jr.
And they have been running like that for the last 2 laps, side by side. Lazier stays to the bottom of the racetrack, and this time it looks like Little Al might have the advantage, and he does.
And Sarah had a good vantage point to watch that pass, so let's see what she does with Little Al. Or with Lazier first, then Little Al.
Tony Renna right behind her, so the first 7, 8, 9 cars all still very, very tight, very close.
Boat is 8th, Schechter is 9th, Dare is 10th, Castro-Neves is now 11th, and we're showing DeFerrin still 27 laps off the pace, so he's going to take a huge hit in the points on this race.
Yeah, and Giafone is going to be looking for a pit stop or a yellow flag here very shortly. He can only run about another, I'd say a maximum of 8 more laps before he's going to have to make a green flag pit stop. So he desperately needs a yellow flag to come out here.
He would lose a lap for sure on a green flag stop.
And he did exactly the same thing that Schechter did. Schechter was lucky and got his yellow. Giafone, well, we'll just have to wait and see if he gets his yellow or not.
There's the top 5, the top 6 in your same picture screen. Giafone, Hornish, Lazier, Fisher, Renna, Rice. And they've been racing like this since the drop of the green. And there goes Lazier to the inside of Unser.
Lazier has been the guy who really likes the inside of the racetrack as opposed to Hornish on the outside. He has not made any moves on the outside. Every move he's made has been to the inside, to the bottom groove. And so if you're going to leave that bottom open, he's going to say, thank you very much, I just will take that. It looks like Hornish is going to give him that bottom groove as he's running up in the second groove still.
There goes Lazier. You watch him pull to the inside of Hornish. They go side by side on lap 84.
This is a huge victory for Lazier, even if he doesn't win this race, just to be up front battling with the leaders, which we really haven't seen all year long. He's been one of those guys who's been back in 8th, 10th, 12th, sometimes even worse than that. But this time he has battled and been very, very tough right with the best of them.
Lazier on the inside. They almost get together right in front of Sarah Fisher and Tony Renna and Billy Boat.
Renna looks very strong now as he's all over Sarah Fisher. Goes to the
high side, so they're running side by side, nose to tail, and Renna goes on by for a position. So he wants to pull in there and do some battling with Lazier and Unser.
Unser once again
and
gets
Sarah just got passed by Boat, so Sarah lost 2 positions in 1 lap. So she's dropped back to 7th now.
Now then she comes back though. She says, thanks guys, but I don't like that very much. I'm going to come back, see if I can. Look at that though. She lost the front end. She's going to probably get passed again as she had to get completely out of the throttle right there. And Rice gives Rice a chance to get a run on her.
Well, Rice, and behind Rice is his teammate Schechter. We haven't mentioned Cheever's name. Cheever's back in 17th position. He'd been very, very racy early on, but he's way off the pace now.
Yeah, he's for some reason.
Felipe Giafone then looking over his shoulder through his mirrors and can see all the action that's going on behind him. Sam Hornish Jr. looks very good, the defending champion, Paul.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which part of the track he's at, the high or the low, he's pushing very, very hard. But he's been in all these races, he's been very aggressive.
Well, we can see there Giafone and Hornish absolutely doing battle as they come into the back markers. Hornish has been happy being up high on the racetrack, seemingly happy to see everyone else low down, and it's getting very, very close indeed. So I think it's time to get back to the track to hear what our commentators have got to say.
Wow, he stuck that thing in there and dared somebody to try to make it not work, and he certainly made it look good.
That's a 40-year-old guy driving like an 18-year-old.
And a 21-year-old guy that said, I think I'm just going to let him go this time.
Well, they were going around. Oh, we got a car to the wall.
It's like two cars got
involved.
together.
Oh, it's Schechter.
Here's the B.
Let's see who else is involved.
Of the car, heavy damage to the right side. You can see he's taking a little survey, but not much he can do about that damage. They got hooked together. Both got into the fence at the same time down there, and whatever.
Dave Brown trying to get that safety collar off the cockpit. Let's watch again, Larry.
Oh,
one of them spun.
Looked like
I think it was Schechter that lost it.
Yeah, I think Schechter spun, and Dari absolutely had nowhere to go. He tried to miss him to the outside, but the hole had closed up before he got there. But Schechter looked like the back end just came around as quick as this thing lets go. You know, could have been some kind of mechanical problem, because that thing snapped around on him very quickly at a point on the racetrack where that sort of thing usually does not happen.
Well, he was at the top of his game 2 weeks ago, and now back where we've seen him several times this season. That's
we're riding along. Oh no, he just got her a little loose. Got her a little loose, corrected once, but the next time she was gone. And you saw him drop his hands off of the wheel. That's how you get your fingers broken, by leaving your hand on there when that wheel starts spinning and you hit the wall. You saw him drop his hands down in his lap, so that didn't happen. Tough break for Thomas Schechter.
Well, the yellow that Giafone needed was provided by Thomas Schechter, who got the yellow he needed earlier. So you can see as you take a look at Tony Renna as we return to Kentucky Speedway out there on the track without the front wing. So we remain under yellow. He'll dive back in the pits and get that wing replaced.
Yeah, he
was third car in the Team Kelly organization, teammates to Al Unser Jr. and Scott Sharp. He had been the substitute driver for Al when Al missed the last two races, but right now Al rides in second. And there's a look from Al's onboard camera, the Cortico sponsored entry, and he's right behind the rookie Langhorne.
Yeah,
Will Langhorne out of the Washington D.C. area did not make a pit stop. So it's been he's been on the track for what, 39 laps since his last pit stop. So he can go for another 20-25 laps or so.
Yeah, well, Giafone went for 60 laps with all the yellows, and that's really pushing it. That's about as long as you're going to go. I didn't think Giafone could go that many, but evidently, so he can go another 20-22 laps, evidently, with all the yellow flag laps that they've got. Renna is going to have to go back in, get the nose piece put back on his car, though, if he wants to have any kind of a chance to run and run well in this race.
200 lap event. We are nearing the halfway point. We're working on lap 99 right now, so halfway will come under yellow, and the yellow has been prolonged because of the altercation in the pit area where a pit crew member has been struck. Yeah, let's look at the stats on Al, where he started the race in 14th position, and we have well documented the fact that he spent those 17 days in a rehabilitation center for what he considered his addiction to alcohol. He now says, yes, I'm an alcoholic. He talks about some family members, his grandfathers on both sides of the family that had drinking problems. He has now addressed the issue, and I think he's been praised by his fellow competitors for standing up and saying, yes, I have a problem. I'm addressing the problem. And I tell you what, the best thing that for him to do, I think today, is probably win this race with a good, clear head. And he's going to tell himself, yep, I can do it once again if I lay off the alcohol.
And there's Buddy Lazier, who's certainly having his best race of the year. There's no question that this team has had all kinds of problems this year. Not sure exactly what those problems have been. They have been fast on occasion, but they haven't
been consistent like they were last year.
They have not been up front, running consistently up front like they have been today.
For a team that has won Indy, has won the championship, won 4 in a row last year, they've been way off the mark this season, right along with another of the rookies. This is Vitor Mira.
And he spun earlier in the day during the practice session, going out of the pit area. And it's just a rookie mistake. Very easy to get on the tires too hard, cold tires. So he did that before the race started in the practice session this morning.
Got his mistake then.
That's right. He's got it out of the way. He doesn't have to worry about saying.
Where Tony Renna made his mistake in the race a couple of races back, leading the pits. Mira did his this morning in practice.
Exactly.
Right now he's back in 15th position. And there the crew is working on the nose of Renna's car.
Putting the nose, putting fuel in it. They're getting ready to go. So it appears that now he does have everything he needs to be back on the racetrack. And actually he's going to have the advantage of being able to go a few more laps, maybe 3 or 4 more laps than anybody else because of this late pit stop. But he will be clear back in 18th
Renna
position.
finished 10th in his debut. And then that was at Nashville.
But he had led that race until he spun coming out of the pit area.
Finished 4th the last outing. We understand that there were actually 2 pit crew members hit in the pit area. Do not have the identification on those individuals, but we understand that both are conscious, alert, talking to the medical crew members that are on the scene down there. But realistically, Larry, these drivers are safer in the cockpit than those guys are in
The pit area is definitely one of the most dangerous places at the racetrack. There's no question. Those guys are whistling in and out of there at 70, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. And those cars, you know, 1,500 pounds, it hits a 160-pound guy, it's going to hurt you. And don't know exactly what's wrong with those guys, but we certainly hope everything's okay.
All right, you saw the pace car pull off. The field belongs to a rookie driver, Will Langhorne.
I look for Al Unser Jr. to get a huge jump on him and take the lead right away. I'd be very surprised if Will Langhorne leads very many green flag laps.
No, I think
well, look at these
they're
guys.
all going to go by him.
They're all, well, I think
he's saying, all right, boys, go ahead and go.
He kept them slow. Look at this forward rest. He kept them slow for so long that everybody, look at that. Lazier was way on the outside. He finally squeezed himself down, and Langhorne lasted till almost to the first corner. Look at Giafoni. He's on the inside. Now Lazier goes for the, somebody got way wide. That's Al Jr., but he saved it.
So who's going to lead this lap? I guess Lazier's going to lead this thing.
Lazier's going to lead. Hornish second. Giafoni jumped from 5th up to 3rd, and he really looks strong as he goes to the inside of Hornish.
Well, that was a case where he brought him down very, very slowly. That's the first time that he, as a rookie, had a chance to come down for a restart, leading, and it was a slow restart. And these guys got the RPMs up and went on by him.
Certainly did. Al Unser Jr. went clear back to 16th. We saw him go way up in the marbles. He's very, very fortunate. He just didn't slide right into the wall. He did get it gathered up, got back down to the bottom of the racetrack, but went clear back to the back. So he's got a long way to come back up through now.
Well, Lazier knows his way to victory lane because he's won the last 2 outings at this event, and he finds himself leading now for the first time today.
Well,
6 different leaders.
Now goes Giafoni down to the inside.
And a new leader. We hope to have an interview with Schechter and Dare momentarily. Now, who's going to lead this lap if they don't crash?
Oh, man. That's very close. Lazier tried to stick to the outside. Still tries it and then decides he better just fall in behind Giafoni.
And we have another yellow. This is for Debris on lap 107.
Wow. Well, here's an interview with Dare and Schechter.
Involving Ayrton Dare and Thomas Schechter. Ayrton, obviously you guys are okay. Can you tell us what happened? Were you just a victim here?
Yeah, I mean, both of us, you know. I saw the blisters on his tires, and then I knew that's going to blow up. I called my guys and to tell the officials that, but I don't know if the information got to the officials or not. But it was unfortunately for us because the car was really good. We thought that we could be a top 5 finish, you know, but that was not our fault.
Thomas, for the 8th time at DNF, were you aware that the tire were blistering?
No, not at all. And I thought something wrong with the engine because it was lagging a lot down the straights. But I just feel sorry for Dare. It had nothing to do with it. You know, he tried to warn me or warn my pit crew that my tire went. No one warned me. No one warned the officials. We have to sit down with Firestone and make sure this doesn't happen again, really.
Is there a way in your mind at these speeds that another driver or another team can make you aware of a situation like that to possibly avoid it?
It's a dangerous situation with the tire, and that's exactly why Ayrton told me or told his spotter to tell my spotter or tell the officials. And it's a dangerous situation, and look what happens, you know. So thank him.
Well, we're glad you're all right, Paul.
Well, interesting, Larry Rice, that the yellow was for debris, and they said it could be off of this car right here. There may have been some contact between Little Al. Let's look again. Little Al and Giafone.
Well, this is when Al got way wide going down into this corner, and he almost got into the fence right there.
Or could have been contact.
Yeah, looked like there might have been some contact. Look how high he is. He's way up in the marbles. He did a terrific job keeping that thing out of the wall, because when you get up in there, you're riding, it's like ice up there, and you have very little control of the race car. He kept it off of the wall, but there was something that came off the car, and that's the reason for the yellow. You did hear them say that Thomas Schecter's tire was blistered. That is something that we were talked about a little earlier, that there might be some tire problems here today.
Go back to green flag racing here at Kentucky Speedway with Giafone setting the pace off the corner. Here's Lazier in second. Third is Hornish. Fourth is Scott Sharp.
Once again, Hornish tries to get that run. Scott Sharp right behind him, trying to gain an advantage. Look at Al Jr. back there in the back of the pack as he's working on several different cars, trying to get back up towards the front of the pack.
That was Ray Dawn. Oh, spin. Is that Rice? Or is that Cheever?
Can't tell which one of those two it did. He got sideways, kept it under control. That's Buddy Rice. That is Buddy Rice.
He was in sixth position when he spins. Did a nice job of hanging on to that baby, though.
Boy, he certainly did. As he coming off that corner, got that thing sideways, got on the brakes very hard. And
did the yellow come out, or did the green stay out?
I think the yellow flag is out. As once you see that a car spinning like that, just about have to throw the yellow flag. Let's take a look. He's back there in sixth place. He just lost the back end, very much like Thomas Schechter did. The back end came around on him. Looks like he might have pinched it a little bit. He did a great job saving it. And then right here's where he really does a good job. He gets off of the brake once that thing gets pointed in the right direction, or he probably would just spun around and killed the engine. We're going to ride along with Mira.
Menard car. Mira with a good onboard view, and he slides by on the high side.
He didn't have a lot of speed yet. That's the other good thing. This was on a restart, still at relatively slow speeds for these cars. So he slid sideways and then got her corrected and got going again. I don't know whether he might have. I think he probably got some flat spots on those tires. So see if he comes in and changes tires.
There's Sarah. She will be sixth on this restart.
Buddy Rice is going to be back near the very back of this. Yeah, he's going to come in and.
I don't think we'll see the leaders, though, at this. This should again be a very short, because there was no debris on the racetrack.
No. But because his flap spotted the tires, he's going to come in, put new tires on. So he's not going to take any chances.
Well, they'll still have to make one more pit stop before this race grinds to a conclusion. And we should go green this time by.
Castroneves did gain one spot. He got around Scott Sharp.
And there goes Hornish again to the high side where he likes to run. Riding on board now as the battle is up in front for your lead. Hornish has led. Hornish has not led yet this afternoon. We've had 6 different leaders, but one has not been Hornish.
Castroneves now moves into third spot as Sarah Fisher.
Lazier begins to shuffle back.
Yeah, he moves back from second.
Lost 2 positions and about to lose 3 as here comes Sharp on the high side. They almost make contact.
Those guys run so close to these cars.
They think they have fenders on these things.
220 miles an hour. Here comes Billy Boat out. We told you he was going to have to make a stop and go penalty because he was speeding in the pit area. He's just now coming back on the racetrack and did lose 1 lap.
Look at Sarah pull up behind Scott.
Now then, Buddy Lazier doesn't give up that easy as he goes back to the bottom side of Castroneves. And so far has been able to hang on to that third spot. Castroneves running side by side on the outside.
And Sarah moves to the inside of Scott Sharp. It looks like she has a nose up going to the corner. There's a pass for position. That'll put her up to 6th. Make that 5th. And Lazier trying to edge by on the inside. Oh, they're ever so close. Side by side, lap after lap.
They've been like that ever since this restart.
Still have 72 laps to go.
Castroneves got a little bit of an advantage, and then Lazier came right back to the inside, and they've been running like that ever since.
Well, here comes Sarah.
She appears to be faster than both of them, gaining on them.
She's going to look for a spot to go, and wherever she goes, Scott may follow her.
Look at Hornish.
Back up in front. Hornish again tries the high side. Turning laps over 200. Look at that. 219 miles an hour for Sarah. 219.5. She was the fastest that last lap.
Now you don't want to be blocking. Brian Barnhart has made it very clear that if you block in this series, you're going to get penalized. So if you come off the corner low, you better stay low. If you come up high, you better stay high and give that guy behind you some sort of a chance to get around you one place or the other.
Sarah up in 5th position, and I don't see him blocking right now. Apparently, Al Unser Sr. was asked, the driving coach was asked to talk to Sarah because they felt like she may have been chopping a bit 2 weeks ago. You want to explain that chopping at Michigan?
Yeah, going into the corner, they didn't feel like she was giving the guy behind enough room. She went from the top groove to the bottom groove. Going into the corner, felt like that maybe she should have stayed in the top groove when somebody was that close behind her, and they just kind of talked to her about it. I don't think they warned her. I think they just told her that it was their observation, and maybe she should keep that in mind during this race here today.
Well, Lazier rides back there in 3rd position. Castroneves is 4th.
Look at this.
Look at Cheever. Well.
He's going to get a little racy on us here near the end of this race. He comes up and looks very strong, as his 2 young bucks have both made had some sort of a problem here today.
Well, Sarah looks to the inside of Castroneves for 4th position. Top 3 running nose to tail right now, and again we have about 67 laps to go. But this is what we have come to expect with the Indy Racing League. Side by side, nose to tail, from the time you drop the green flag till the checker flag falls.
And Lazier seems to be gaining on both of the 2 leaders here at this point. Sarah, meanwhile, falling back just slightly, but still hanging on to that 4th position.
I remember Sarah was on the podium here. Finished 3rd, what was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2000. So, and she's pulling away slightly from Scott Sharp, who's right behind her in 5th position as they come up to lap George Mack once again.
There's the speed. Look at Sarah. Sharp was 219.8 the last time.
Oh, that's Billy Boat.
Billy Boat.
I said George Mack. It's Billy Boat who they're lapping, and he seems to.
He's off the pace somewhat after that stop and go penalty.
Well,
he may have done some damage though when he.
He probably did some damage to the right rear suspension on that car. When that tire comes apart, it slaps against that suspension. I'm sure he's done some damage to that right rear suspension.
Because his last lap was 205 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's done some damage to that right rear suspension, and he's not going to be a contender here today.
El Hornish is looking to lead for the first time this afternoon. Lazier has led once before for 3 laps. Giaffoni has led since lap 107. We're on 137 right now, so the top 3. Oh, and Giaffoni or Hornish moved up the racetrack right in front of Lazier. And Sarah now has closed in.
Sarah Fisher is gaining on the top guy. She's been gaining the last couple of laps. She fell back about 10 car lengths, but here in the last 2 or 3 laps, she has gained a lot of ground.
Well, Felipe Giaffoni leads this thing, 130. There is the gap between 1st and 2nd. You ride with Sam Hornish. Lazier is 3rd, Fisher is 4th, and they will have one more pit stop. At least one more stop before this race is over.
I got a feeling they'll probably make 2 more, depending on how the yellow flags fall. But look at this. Lazier goes to the inside as Hornish goes to the outside.
Oh, look how close those tires are.
Hornish goes to the outside. Giaffoni has to give him enough room out there. And going into the next corner, he slightly moves away back into the lead.
Oh, what a great onboard camera shot. Look at those cars dance around.
Yeah, it appears Giaffoni's moving around a little bit more than Hornish's car is, but it's hard to tell as you're riding along with Sam Hornish. And all 4 of those leaders running extremely quick laps.
Here comes Sarah to the inside of Lazier. We know for 2 or 3 laps, Sarah was the fastest driver out there. Oh, look at Lazier pull up on the back of Hornish. Hornish tries the high side, trying to lead for the first time here this afternoon.
Yeah, and Lazier moved up the racetrack. That's going to give Sarah Fisher the bottom as she's trying to get by him down on the inside of the racetrack. Lap after lap, side by side.
I think they're getting their money's worth here this afternoon.
Boy, oh boy, I'm getting my money's worth. I know that. It just makes me cringe every time I see those guys coming within inches of each other.
Look at this formation. 2 by 2, side by side, nose to tail.
221 miles an hour, 219 miles an hour, excuse me.
219 and change. Some of the best racing of the afternoon. But Felipe hangs on to lead this thing. Well, in that scramble for position, they were running side by side, nose to tail. Sarah moves to 3rd and drops Lazier to 4th. And there goes Sarah to the inside of our old go-kart nemesis, Sam Hornish.
Yeah, and even though they used to race a lot, I don't think there's.
They're not the best of buddies.
They don't hang out too much.
I don't think they socialize or go to dinner together.
Now then, it looks like Lazier might lose that. Get inside of Hornish. Now I couldn't make that stick, but Sarah Fisher very, very strong.
I would hope that we get a shot. If Sarah gets this lead back, I hope we get a shot at the grandstand because she led the first 27 laps from the pole position. You know, we set motorsports history yesterday when she qualified for the pole. We could see history in the making here this afternoon.
Well, she had an extremely bad pit stop. First pit stop, she went back to 10th spot. Since that, she's been slowly working her way back towards the front of this field. Right now, she appears to be, Hornish came up on her very quickly as it looked like she had to lift just slightly, and I thought he was just going to run right into that right rear, but for some reason, she lost the front end. She must have got a little bit too close to Giaffoni, got caught in the air, and had to get out of the throttle just slightly.
Well, keep in mind, we call that aero push because the air going over that first car goes over the second car and takes the downforce off the front wings, and the car starts to push.
Right, and that's why Hornish has been so good on the outside because he doesn't have to run right behind somebody. Giaffoni running very well, but he's running on the bottom of the racetrack. Sarah Fisher running very well, but she also has been running on the bottom of the racetrack.
Who are they coming up on here?
Uh-oh, look out.
That's Billy Boat. They're going to come up on Billy Boat to lap him.
And Hornish had to get out of the throttle. He didn't want any part of 3 wide through that corner.
Where's Sarah going to go here?
I don't know, but she's had a chance to get a little bit of a run right there because Hornish did have to lift.
There she goes to the inside.
It takes about a lap or lap and a half to get your full momentum built back up if you lift very much. He didn't have to lift a lot, but he did have to lift, and it took him about a half lap before he got his full speed built back up.
Talk much about DeFerrin after that altercation early on, but he is still on the racetrack with 29 laps behind. The points leader will take a real hit in the point standings as you watch the top 5 right together on the racetrack. 5th place now is Lazier. There's the top 5 driving away from you. There's Castro Nevitz back to Al Unser Jr. Unser now is in 7th position in car number 7.
He's worked his way back up quite a ways. We're being told that Eddie Cheever maybe have a problem and have to go into the pits. Oh, looked like Sharp got very high going into that last corner for some reason.
Hornish again, looked to the high side, but then they had to move up to go by Langhorne. Sarah still 3rd. Here comes Scott Sharp in 4th position. Scott won earlier this season at Nazareth. And he looks to the high side. Right back on board. They get very close. Oh my!
Man, oh man, he was between a rock and a hard spot. It was either her wheel or the wall. And they were both real close.
Wow. Oh man.
Now then, Hornish seemed to got a great run that last time, but still, Giaffoni just will not give up.
And some speculate that Giaffoni could be racing for his future with Mo Nunn Racing because there's some questions as to whether he has a ride with this team next season.
Well, there's been a lot of speculation that because he hasn't won, even though he's been very consistent, he hasn't crashed very much, he's always been up front. But because in this league, if you don't win, that's all that counts. And they've talked, there has been talk that he could be racing these last 2 or 3 races to keep his ride next year if he doesn't win a race.
Well, Sarah now has been passed by Scott Sharp. She drops back to 4th. And there's Buddy Lazier back there in 5th position. Buddy in the Team Hemmelgarn entry.
Well, regardless of whether she wins this race or not, she's certainly proven to everybody in the audience, everybody in the grandstand, that she can race with the best of them, and she's done a terrific job. Scott Sharp, who looks as strong right now as he has all day as he pulls up on your 2 leaders and appears to be the fastest race car on the racetrack.
We still have those 46 laps to go. And turning laps over 218 miles an hour. Qualifying speed for Sarah yesterday over 221.3, a new track record. The old record set here by Scott Goodyear.
Alonso Jr.
2 years ago.
Alonso Jr. has gotten around Castroneves. So Castroneves has fallen back to 7th place. One of not his best run of the year by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, the captain had his 2 drivers 1, 2 in the point standings. It looks like if Sam can finish 1st or 2nd, looks like Sam could certainly move up there into the lead. It tries again the high side. He's probably the best on the high side.
Boy, those guys are just, you have to trust your competitor immensely to run at those kind of speeds that close lap after lap like these guys have done. They've been running like this.
They just gave Hornish that lap. They're going to give Hornish that lap at 157.
Well, now they're coming up on some lap traffic. He may use that lap traffic as a pick, and he does.
They almost got together right there, and here comes Scott Sharp as they go around George Mack.
Giafone tried to bluff him. Giafone tried to move up and move him out, and Hornish let him know right away he wasn't moving anywhere, so Giafone had to get out of the throttle and let him go. And that's going to give Sharp a little bit of a chance to go around the outside.
Sharp, of course, was we have a yellow, another yellow, the 7th of the afternoon for debris. Pits are closed.
Well, that's a tough break for Scott Sharp, but he had a little bit of a run on Giafone, and I believe he was going to get him that time because Giafone did have to lift getting in the corner. Hornish did a good job using George Mack as kind of a pick, and Giafone tried to move Hornish up the racetrack, but Hornish was having none of it. It's hard to play chicken at 217 miles an hour, but that's kind of what they were doing.
Well, our 7th leader of the afternoon, Sam Hornish. They include Fisher, Boat, Giafone, Unser, Langhorne, Lazier, and Hornish.
Welcome back. While you were away, we went green again. 32 laps to go. It is Felipe Giafone that leads from Buddy Lazier. In 3rd place, Helio Castroneves, and 4th is Sam Hornish. Let's get back to the track then and our commentary team.
Renna up to 6th position, right behind his teammate Scott Sharp.
Those are all 3 of Kelly's car running right there. That's Renna, Sharp, and Unser all running right together.
And Renna's going to go to the inside. They're running side by side down the straightaway.
Well, Renna did not get around Scott Sharp. Scott Sharp was the one who wasn't all that strong early in the day, but he's certainly been strong here near the end of the race.
You know, we asked after the last show 2 weeks ago, how are you going to top that? Well, look at this here.
It seems like no matter what, these guys find a way to put on a bigger and better show almost every time out, as they really, right now, it looks like Buddy Lazier all over the back of Giafone.
30% of all these races end with less than a second between 1st and 2nd place.
And Hornish has fallen back a little ways. These top 2 guys have pulled away from everybody else, so that may be an indication that these 2 guys made a little change in that last pit stop that helped them, and some of the other guys didn't do quite so well in theirs, as Sarah Fisher is back in 10th spot and hasn't moved up.
She restarted in 8th, and in fact has been passed by her teammate Robbie Buell and by Alex Barron. She's dropped 2 positions since that restart. With 28 laps to go. Well, we've got 2 drivers out in front that have yet to win this season. Although, as we've documented before, Lazier knows the way to victory lane. He's won the last 2 years that the IRL came to Kentucky.
It seems like
he's finished 2nd, but has never won this season.
Everybody who catches up with Giafone, they can run with him, but to get around him on the outside is a very, very tough thing to do. And he is hugging that inside line. He's not giving anybody the inside of the racetrack. And to go around him on the outside has been very hard so far for Hornish. And now Lazier hasn't been able to do anything with him either.
Well, off the top of the show, Larry, we talked about we've had 8 different winners in the last 8 events. And right now, these two guys have yet to have found victory lane this season. So that could continue.
Yeah, sure could. You can see those two about a second and a half in front of Sam Hornish right now. Not quite a second and a half. And then the gap back there between 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, they're all very, very close. There you go. There's the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. And Scott Sharp back there in 6th spot. His teammate Tony Renna right in front of him.
His teammate Al Unser right behind him.
Yeah.
You hear the rev limiter?
You hear the rev limiter. That's exactly. Oh!
Almost got together.
I think they did touch. I thought they did touch as Scott Sharp.
A heck of a chance that they didn't.
Man, oh man. Those guys both, didn't matter whether we're teammates or not. This is every man for himself. That's right, every man for himself in this kind of stuff.
And you know, with Tom Kelly, there are no team orders. Just go out there and race, boys.
I'm not sure.
Have to tear the equipment up, but don't.
I'm not sure how much attention they pay to him anyway. As now then, Al Unser Jr. Comes up on Tony Renna.
That's Alex Barron behind them.
I don't know. Tony Renna maybe got thinking, man, I don't know whether it's worth touching wheels or not at 215 miles an hour.
That was my teammate when I have to go back and talk to the boss when this thing is over.
I want to keep this ride.
Just gotta want to hang on to it. They go by.
That's Will Langhorne again.
Will Langhorne.
They're lapping once again. And now then Al Jr. goes around Renna.
So Al has cleared his young teammate. So Al is 6th, Renna is 7th, Barron is 8th. Fisher has gotten back around Robbie Buell for 9th position.
I think Tom Kelly would rather take all 3 of those cars home in 5th, 6th, and 7th rather than in the wall racing each other. So.
Well, there's a race for 8th position. Sarah and Alex. Alex won earlier this season. Sarah to the inside.
Sarah Fisher all of a sudden seems to have kind of picked up the pace. I'm not sure what happened on that start, but she got a lousy restart for about 4 or 5 laps. She didn't run very good at all, but now
she started in 8th, dropped back a couple of positions.
That's what I mean. She just didn't run very well. Now then, she appears to be running back up to speed, but she's got a lot of positions to get through to get back up and challenge for the lead.
9th position right now. Once again, Giafoni has led 3 different times in this event.
Here in Hornish, we're watching the teammates of Al Unser Jr. and Tony Renna, who are battling with each other. Scott Sharp, their other teammate, right in front. Now pulling up on Castroneves. We said that Castroneves seemed to go slower as the laps wore on. So he's run about 12, 14 laps, and all of a sudden he seems to be losing ground to Sam Hornish, and Scott Sharp seems to be gaining on him.
Giafoni has led the most laps, about 100. 182 completed, only 18 laps to go. And we saw him reach down and make some adjustment there to the cockpit, to the suspension.
Giafoni very well knows how important this win could be to him. Kind of the rap on him is that he's not a fighter. He gives up too easy, and we'll find out, because he certainly looks like a fighter right now.
There's a fighter right there in Sam Hornish.
And you can see that he has chopped about 0.4 of a second off of that lead here in the last few laps. So he's made some adjustments inside that cockpit, and or changed the line on the racetrack. Whatever he's done, he has picked up a little speed here and is gaining on these first 2 guys.
Well, now we have 13 cars on the lead lap. Raul Boisel now 10 seconds behind your leader in the 13th position. Once again, it's Giafoni, Lazier, Hornish, Castroneves, Sharp, Unser, Renna, Barron, Fisher.
I still think when it comes down to it, this is going to be a three-man shootout for the lead. And I think Hornish, Lazier, and Giafoni are going to be all together here as it looks like Hornish is pulling these guys in.
Check with race control and see if we have the cameras ready for a photo finish.
He is pulling them in. He's got 14 laps now in order to do it, but it's very slowly. But he's now down to 76 hundredths of a second. He was 1.4 seconds behind not too long ago.
Well, catching is one thing, passing is something else. You alluded to that earlier about guys that caught to the rear of the 21 car but could not get around Giafoni.
Well, Giafoni's done a great job protecting that lead. He's done what he had to do. He's run that inside. He's made him go around the outside, and nobody's been able to do that yet.
Well, Giafoni has led the most laps here. We've had 7 different leaders. Giafoni has led on 3 different occasions. He's led over 100 of these 187 laps.
Hornish is catching these guys at the rate of about 1/10 of a second per lap. So he's definitely the fastest guy on the racetrack right now. As Castroneves also has been gaining on your leaders. So Castroneves, who is back, he also right now is catching these guys.
Last pit stop helped him pick up some positions.
Yeah.
Now you're right along with Hornish with 11 laps to go. Here's the battle for second. He has to get by Lazier to have a shot at Giafoni, going for his 4th win of the year. Oh, Giafoni was ever so close to the wall that time.
Hornish has been in this battle before. He knows exactly.
Talking about a gunfighter.
Yeah, he knows. So many times he's been in this position and he's been able to pull it off. We'll see what kind of tricks he's got up his sleeve right now, but he better be looking in his rearview mirror because Castroneves is coming pretty strong.
10 laps to go. The final 10 laps here from Kentucky. The city is Sparta, Kentucky. Just a short drive south of Cincinnati, Ohio. About 55, 60,000 people on their feet right now over the final 9 laps. Now Lazier has closed in again on.
And look at Scott Sharp. He is all over Castroneves back there. So we got battles for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and for 4th and 5th all at the same time as Sharp is on the outside back there. He gets a huge run. He gets that draft, but when he pulls out of that draft, it's like he runs into a brick wall. He does not gain anymore once he gets to the outside. Just not enough momentum. Sharp has gotten around Castroneves.
But then if he tucks in behind and stays behind him right there, he could lose the downforce in the front wing.
Well, that's right. So he's, he's got to make a choice, and he's been running very well on that outside, but he has not been able to get up. What he's hoping for is just a slight error on one of their parts. It's just a slight lift. And if they do just have to lift slightly, then he'll have an advantage. But so far, neither one of those guys has made that error.
Well, you don't often see a Buddy Lazier make a bobble on a racetrack. And obviously, Giafoni's been very consistent. There's going to be a lap car to contend with up in front.
The other thing Hornish has to remember is the points championship also is very important. You don't want to do something stupid and crash here near the end of the race, because a 3rd place finish certainly increases your chances of winning the championship a lot more than at the end.
Oh, look at that. Oh, look.
Wow, he's moving that thing
what
around.
What were you just saying?
He's like a go-kart. He's moving it in and out. And look at Sharp. Sharp is pulled right into this mix. He's going to be the 4th guy in this.
And keep in mind, that puts, there goes Hornish.
Wow. Use that lap traffic. Looked like Lazier had to just lift just ever so slightly, and Hornish just put in the afterburner and blew on by him. Unbelievable.
Well, Hornish has won 3 times. Can he pick off his 4th victory of the year? Will Giafoni get his 1st win of the year? Can Lazier come back and win his 1st of the year and make it 3 in a row here at Kentucky Speedway? 4 laps to go.
Sam Hornish using all the tricks right now. Lazier now right behind him, and Scott Sharp is falling a ways behind. He was right there in the mix. He's falling back a little bit right now.
Well, we'll let the pictures tell the story. There's not a whole lot, Larry, we can say right now to embellish what we're seeing on the racetrack.
Not really. And
now, keep in mind, there's some more lap traffic up in front.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Gary. That's going to play a huge factor And whoever uses that traffic best is going to come home with a victory.
Giafone in the Monanon Hollywood sponsored car. There's the Pennzoil Panther number 4, the defending IRL champion Sam Hornish. The Himmelgarn owned and Coors sponsored 91.
Look at this. He got a good run down there that time. He's going to move to the outside. He's going to look at that.
Blocked a little bit right there.
Giafone does not want to give him that outside. He didn't want to give him any place on the racetrack, really. And
this is the final lap. This is the final lap. We've got lap cars out in front. Where's Giafone going? Where is Hornish going? You heard the rev limiter. And it looks like Giafone's going to pick up the victory. And Giafone crosses the line. Well, my, our 9th different winner in 9 outings, Larry.
Well, he's got to be a very happy guy, and he went a long ways towards saving his ride right there. And he did drive an excellent race. He had those guys all over him the whole last half of the race. He never made a mistake. He never wavered. When they went to the outside of him, he just kept his foot down and kept on going. So you have to give him a lot of credit.
Giafone wins it over Hornish, comes back to finish 6th. 7th was rookie Tony Renna, Sarah Fisher 8th, then Alex Barron, Buell, Cheever, and Buddy Rice in the 12th position. Go through the rest of the field where Old Boiselle, there's Salazar from the back of the pack at the start to finish 14th. Of course, DeFerrin some 28 laps off the pace. Sure where our winner was going.
Well,
taking
I don't know whether he was going to try to do some donuts or what he was doing, but he did take a detour through the grass there at any rate.
Jack Arute will have the interview. And
congratulations, your first victory.
Thank you. Yeah, it was, I mean, the team did a great job. I really messed up in the first pit stop, and they did a great job, so it's awesome.
Awesome indeed. So he takes his first ever IRL win, gentlemen. I mean, and he had to fight for it. Sam Hornish, some of those last few laps, I don't know about you, but I'm still sweating now.
Yeah, there was a lot of action there. We've seen on the last 3 IRL races a lot of fighting going on in those last few laps. That's when it matters. But these boys are really cutting it close now.
Well, with 50 points for a race win, Sam Hornish is right back in the hunt now with 3 rounds left to go.
I mean, this was an absolute disaster for Gilles de Ferran, finishing 21st, I think, in the end. So Sam Hornish back up there at the top of the points. 3 races that he likes as well. So definitely put your money on him.
I have to say bad luck to the guys in Upton in Poole who collared hold of me the other day to wish their boys on good luck, and it's not been a great situation for the Penske boys, has it? Helio Castroneves down there in 5th place. Really, this is the worst case scenario as far as they're concerned. Gilles de Ferran and Felipe Girafoni are right in the hunt as far as the championship's concerned. Can Hornish pull it back? Can he pull it back with the might of Penske? We've seen how those guys work their races normally. This has been a bad day for them.
I think this is a classic. The thing about Hornish is that Hornish, as a driver, doesn't have off weekends. I mean, we've seen it there today. He's the only guy who can run that high line consistently. He's the only guy who seems to be on it all the time. Penske fall or actually rise weekend by weekend. They've had a bit of a bad run, but Hornish, give him half a chance and he is so on it. I think he's the bloke to beat still.
Thought for Sarah Fisher, brilliant qualifying all the way through. She was in the hunt. She slipped in the end to 8th place as far as my notes here are concerned. But she's definitely back now, isn't she? She's got her confidence. She likes the team that she's with. She likes her crew chief. Everything seems to be working. It's a good thing to see her back, because at the beginning of this year she had no job and her confidence was shot to bits.
Yeah, I think the thing was when Derek Walker let her go, it was reasons of finance. They didn't do any testing. They were just going to the races, and it was compromising both the team and her position. With Dreyer and Reinbold, they've been going testing. As you've said, she's got a good relationship with her engineer, with her crew chief, and that gives you confidence. And she's racing with the right people, so that really pulls you along as well. So we're minutes away from having a historic situation, I think.
I make it 19 points cover the top 4 men in this at the moment. My mathematics have never been that good. With 50 points for a win and 3 rounds left, this is going to be a fantastic finale to the IRL season, the best so far in the series.
Oh, it's amazing, and the racing as well in this series now is just getting so close. I mean, people say that this is a lesser series compared to kart, but that's, you watch this and you've got to say that's absolutely rubbish. These guys are on it. These guys are actually now comfortable racing together.
Well, don't trust my mathematics, by the way, as far as the championship's concerned. You'll have to work that out for yourselves, but we will be on top of that by the time we get to you next time. Congratulations to Felipe Giafoni. Our continuing coverage of both the Indy Racing League and the Kart FedEx Series is assured, and next week we'll bring you the 13th round of the Kart Series from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. That's next Sunday, the 18th of August at 8 p.m. on Sky Sports 3. Then in 2 weeks' time, we're back with another double header. We'll be starting with the Kart FedEx Series, the Molson Indy Montreal. That's on Sunday the 25th of August, starting at 6:30 p.m. on Sky Sports 3. Then we switch to the Indy Racing League, when we'll be bringing you the Gateway Indy 250 from Gateway International Raceway, St. Louis, Missouri. That's also on Sunday the 25th of August at 9 p.m, but on Sky Sports Extra. Well, that's it for tonight. We've enjoyed two excellent events, two contrasting forms of motor racing, and both providing us with some great action here on Sky Sports. All that's left is for me to thank my guests Lawrence Foster and Paul Cherry, all our technical and production crew, and of course, you the viewers. We'll leave you now with the best of the Belterra Casino 300. See you next week. Good night.